All right, everyone. Welcome to, I think it's our third installment of the Kubernetes Upstream Marketing Team meeting. My name is Paris. It looks like for those on the line right now, we have our regulars, which is awesome. No intros that we need to do, but as always, be excellent to each other. But feel free to be casual this call. It's only a few of us, so we can have some cool discussions. Feel free to butt in, cut me off, whatever. It's only 6 of us right now, so no worries there. Let's see, add your name to the attendee on the agenda if you have not, and let's get right into it. First things first, I did just do a fresh PR into our marketing page. I linked that on the agenda. This is just going to be like the future home of the charter link. Once we have the roles smoothed out, like your name's here kind of thing. And then our focus areas so that people can see that a little bit clearer. And then what I did was ended up putting the resources that are at the top of this agenda in there as well for you and everyone that can kind of see what we're working with. For some like helpful resources and things like that. So we actually have a ton of fresh PRs in. The next one is so fresh that I haven't even gotten a link yet for it. That is for the charter that Chris and I worked on, and Chris checked that in. Thanks, Chris. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that. Hold on, let me get it up. Here it is.
We'll drop it in the notes.
And I'm going to share my screen. All right. Oops. Oh, now I got to, all your faces are right by the buttons that I need. All right. So this is our charter. Again, it definitely doesn't look as extensive as a SIG charter. That's the exact point. It's not extensive. It's just a quick summary, ethos, vision, goals, things that are out of scope. And then we have a lot to do in the governance sections, which I think is going to flesh out once we start writing a little bit more of the guidelines and the handbooks and things like that. You're going to start to see that your workflows are going to need to include certain stakeholders anyway, naturally. So this is the first edition of the PR. So if everybody could, not necessarily right now, let's get through the rest of the meeting, but take a look at that, provide comments on the PR. If we have time at the end of this meeting, let's go ahead and just get through those comments and potentially check this in today. But any questions, concerns, comments right now about the charter that you'd like to discuss? Cool. All right. Now I get to move your faces back. All right. Faces. Zoom faces. All right. And then we've got an open PR for contributor blog guidelines. Toonday worked on this. Thanks, Toonday. I added, actually, I already reviewed and I forgot to add in that the blog should also be reviewed by the people being mentioned in the piece. We don't have that listed in there. And I don't know if that's actually skimmed the SIG docs guidelines as well. I don't think that's in there as their guidelines, but it should definitely be ours. For instance, like when we're quoting people from SIGs, if they're giving you a quote, or if it's like about the SIG chairs, or if it's about the SIG itself, maybe the chair should approve. It's just giving people a nice heads up of here's what we're writing about you, just from like journalistic standards, right? So if everybody on the line could take a second and check those out as well. Same deal as the charter. Once we get through the meeting, at the end of the open discussion, we can go ahead and, if time's available, we'll get this checked in. But does anybody have any immediate questions, comments, or concerns about the blog guidelines?
I'm just reading through it real quickly here. I think it looks really good. And then it links over to the blog guidelines for requested content and unsuitable content. And I think that's good.
That might be a bad link. Let me check that.
I'm sorry, what was that, Chris?
That's like a link directly to a checkout or a commit. Yeah, let me fix that.
Yeah. So under expectations, we got active bloggers should write 1 blog per quarter. So that would be, we have a blogger team and they would write these blogs. And then we also have community members.
Right.
That write
blogs. Anybody can technically write a blog, right? But like if your name is going to be on the blog team, on the marketing page, like your expectation. Yeah, exactly. Like, cool. Let's never like tell anybody they can't write a blog post, right? But yeah, but like if your name is like, if we're shouting you out, giving you maybe like even giving you KubeCon tickets kind of thing, or like giving you certain rewards, then your name should be like in lights. And your expectations at that point is 1 blog a quarter. So I thought that was reasonable. That's like 4 blogs a year. Tell me what you all thought about that. Do we think it should be 3 a year, not 1 a quarter?
I think we can start with this and then we can adapt.
Yeah, I'm down with that as well. Yeah. I just wanted to kind of throw something arbitrary in there so people had somewhat of a structure of expectations.
I think the 1 a quarter makes sense. Just a good touch point in terms of time. Give everybody a sense of what's going on.
Okay, cool. All right.
I'll add a comment to the PR, but I'm just looking at the blogger expectations number 4 there. If you receive a request to write about someone or a group of people from your employer, ask another blogger to write it. That should include a project from your employer as well, right?
Yeah. However, whatever words we need to add there. Yeah, it's just like, just so it doesn't look like self-promotion pretty much. Yeah. Which it won't, but just in case, like, you never know. So, and then let's see. All right. So then we'll, in open discussion, potentially check this in if we have time. And then there was one other item that was related to blog stuff and organization of the blogs, which is the second link that's under the blog guidelines on the agenda. I'll share my screen. So this was the original issue that was like kicking off the, hey, we should probably do a contributor blog series. So what I went and did was at the end of this, edit it for a list of some of the groups that we should talk about first. Sort of a punch list. I was hearing from blogging folks last meeting and other meetings that like if we had just like a punch list, then folks could just assign themselves either their names on the issue or just punch out a new issue from this and then check it off. So bloggers, do you feel like this is cool for you, or like, especially from a process standpoint, what do you think here? And then this would just sort of be our umbrella rolling issue.
Works for me.
Taylor, what about you?
I dig it. I think that makes sense. I only have 2 hands, so I can only give it 2 thumbs up.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. So that's settled. Moving on there. All right. So we are down already to open discussion and questions. So social, I had first listed, actually tagged in Bob because, again, Bob's sitting on quite a few Twitter handles. So Chris and other people who are interested in social media, these are the handles that Bob has and comments. It's all one word, Kubernetes dev, Kate's contributor, Kate's contributors, Contributornettes. I'm sorry.
That one's out. Nope. I can't say that with a straight face. It's Contributornettes. And then I try to spell it and it's game over.
I didn't even know that he was sitting on that one. He must have
That's
just
amazing,
slid that
though.
one in. Kate's community, Kubernetes Com1, and Kate's dash announce. So is there anyone in there that definitely sticks out as a yes to you? Or on the opposite, is there anything that you're like, no, that's not going to cut it?
Like contributor netties, as much as I want to like say it, is not gonna work. It's just not a good handle for Twitter, right? Like misspelling it would be like an easy thing. Kate's community sticks out to me. Kate's announce could work, and the Kate's contributor or contributors works. I mean, none of these are particularly bad, other than the one.
What about others? Any other opinions? Yes or no, one way or the other? I mean, of course I do. Y'all know I always have opinions. So, of this list, I think two are viable. Here's why. I'll say Kate's dash announce isn't viable because that sounds like it could be end users. It could be anything, announcements related to Kubernetes.
Mm-hmm.
Kubernetes Com1 is like super weird. Sounds like Ready Player One. Kate's community is bad actually because again we're describing one persona of the community here, which is contributors. So end users again who affiliate or take like belonging to that word would associate that with them. Kate's contributors I think is good. Kate's contributor is singular. We want to talk about the whole. And then Kubernetes dev, I think, is the next viable, but I hesitate on that because dev is one persona of a contributor, which obviously is the majority. Like that's not a lie, but it's still only one type of contributor. So now
So you're thinking which two were you thinking though?
So
Sorry
the two are Kate's contributors and Kubernetes dev. And then I'll let you know I have pause on Kate's as well. I pause on Kate's because a lot of new contributors don't understand what Kate's means yet. And that's usually like the first kind of gatekeeping thing that we're accused of, I think. Is like, what the heck is Kate's?
What about just Kubernetes folks?
Yeah, right?
That'd be funny.
So out of that list, that's what I personally think is viable and what my thought process there is. Now, the other thing is it doesn't have to end here. There's other variations, I'm sure, that we can pull out of this, right? So let's get some juices flowing right now. I'm going to open up Twitter.
You cuddle typers.
What shout out some good like potential Twitter handles that would describe Kubernetes contributors.
Could we just say Cube contributors? Cube devs. Like I mean, I prefer shorter names, but
I do too. I mean, obviously
just
Twitter does as well.
Cube Crew.
Yeah, so
K.
Cube Crew is actually what we had
Like,
the mentoring
that's a thing.
logo made of, and then my coworker Amit, like I didn't realize it, but 2 months prior had actually open sourced a tool called Crew. So.
Oh, that's right. That's fantastic.
Oops.
Fantastic.
Because there's only so many words that Kubernetes goes with, so every nautical term has been taken, or Greek term. So all right, and we also don't have to block here. We can go on to the meeting as well, and we can park this creative piece as well for for the next. So why don't we do that just to save
Yeah.
time? All right. The next question, and this is for everyone. So now everybody has a little bit more clarity around our foundation, what we're doing here, why we're doing it. And you even probably have something of a, I'd probably like to do that at this point. If not, you already have what you're doing at this point. So the question is, what tools, processes, guidelines, policies, or another thing I didn't include in there is permissions, do you need to have in place before you can hit the ground running? And when I say hit the ground running, I mean everybody's like at least submitting your first PR, meaning, and not necessarily first PR for the project, first PR for this, or your first thing.
I'm gonna need some kind of social media like platform thing, like right off the bat. Like I don't want to deal with like having to pass off passwords and stuff, right? Like everybody should have an account on this thing.
Okay. So your action should be, remember, get us that research as far as free, high, low, medium price points. And then we will, obviously we could talk amongst our crew here. And then if we do decide to go with one that is not free, then we can petition steering, which will ultimately petition CNCF, aka me. So I'll help with that process. But yeah. So
I need to get that to you still. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. And then what else, Chris? Anything else? What about processes, guidelines? Like, so I really think you need guidelines.
So there has to be a guideline around what bubbles up to social, right? Like not everything can go out on social, or maybe everything does go out on social. I don't know. Like,
no, I feel like that's where Kubernetes IO should go. Everything should go there. Like this should be, yeah. So anyway, all right. So you've got action to do start of social guidelines.
Yeah.
And then also everybody on the phone that is interested in social, like tag team with Chris and I on these things. This isn't just like a Chris and I show. So feel free to jump in and help us with those. And then what else? Anything else? So say meet our contributors is next month and we want you to post it. So obviously you need the tool to do it. You need the guidelines to do it. You need the process, like some kind of probably some process points in your guidelines. Mm-hmm. What else? Or do you think that's all you need to get something posted?
I think it might be helpful. I think it might be helpful to have like the messages that we want to get across, like maybe top 5 things that we're trying to highlight.
Yeah, like we need to have like an overall marketing team, like goals for the year. We might be a little too early in that process, right? Like to align everything towards a goal. But like we know, like we want people to write blogs already. We know we want people to help certain SIGs. So like those are like 2 things we can just start out with, right? Like goals right there.
Think of it high level to start, as far as like what I said, where it's like, what if Jonas is like, hey, I'm doing a contributor summit thing and I need you to tweet this. Mm-hmm. Think about, because that's an immediate need we know we're going to have, right?
Right. Like
that's a need that we know we have. So like
I'll need to set up something on the social media channel just to like alert.
Yeah. So when you're writing your guidelines, think of them from a bootstrap perspective of immediate needs. And then we can grow from there. Cool. And so that's why the bootstrapping guidelines won't be big.
Right.
It'll just be something to get you off the immediate ground. And then that's why every week we meet, because you'll just keep building on them.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So Taylor, what about you? So you're going to do some blog stuff and be sort of our liaison with the SIG Docs team. Any tools, processes, guidelines, anything that you need to feel like you're doing a thing here?
I don't. I feel good. I feel like it's the only thing I need is to do the work. I think that's the only thing that I could see in the immediate future. Otherwise, I think it is just kind of grabbing some of the documentation and process things, adding them to our charter, and then calling some things out from there. But that shouldn't take me. I should be able to get that done by early next week at the latest.
All right, awesome. And then Rin, what about you?
I have a funeral to go to next week, so I am pretty off the board until
I'm
the
so
end of
sorry.
February. It's okay. Yeah, I cannot commit to anything realistically until probably the end of February.
No worry, and that's not a worry whatsoever. Say you were active and say you could come. Like, what would be some things that, or what would be some things that you feel like you might need in those categories, or would you feel like you're a tailor where it's like, no, I just need to get to work?
Honestly, the topics, I just need a topic and a SIG, and I can pretty much hit the ground running.
All right.
I would love a shadow if somebody wants to watch, but you and I have done this so many times together, the whole blog post thing. Like, I feel like as long as I have somebody that can be like, here's your edits, go change this, I'm fine, really. As long as I have an editor or something, I'm good.
Yeah. All right. So it sounds like, I mean, I've only spoken to 2 bloggers, but it sounds like our blog team is mostly good to go once we get these blog guidelines PR'd in. So that's good. Jonas, what about you? What are some things that you think you might need tools, process guidelines, anything?
So I'm going to have a meeting with Tunde on Monday. He's on here as cloud automation. So we'll
he automating all the clouds.
Yeah, we'll chat more then regarding what we need for internal comms. For I think building out the calendar, of course, making sure that people can ping us when they have something, so we don't have to hunt for things that we want to make noise about. I think that's the most important one.
Yeah.
Having a way for them to reach out to us and make sure that they do, so we don't miss things. I think that would be the first thing that we need to put in place.
Awesome. I dig it. And then, and same thing with you all. If you uncover that there might be something we need to either spend money on for like maybe something like a one-time shot, or a subscription, whatever, let me know. Okay. Especially something that could do like mountains of good. All right. And then Tunde, that's not cloud automation.
Yeah, I was saying that, like having just like an idea of the messages that we want to get out from the maybe working group or community that we're writing about. Like, for example, if we're going to write about 6 scalability, what's the impression we want to leave on the audience, like whoever's going to read this?
Yep. That's an awesome point. Hold on. All right, and that's definitely something that we can work on together as well. And then and then Tunde, that is cloud automation.
All right, so I just sync up with Jonas. So the goal is on Monday by 1 p.m. CT to have a meeting and talk about internal comms. Things like mostly, probably like just, feed ideas between each other and see how we are going to approach things and provide a feedback to the group. That's what we are going to work on. Yeah.
All right. And then Karthik, is this your first time joining the group, or you were here last time, right?
Yeah, Sorry. Yeah, I was there in the last one.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you need either clarity on as far as like what you can help out with, or if you are like really set on something, what tools or processes, guidelines, etc., do you think you need to do a thing?
At the moment, I'm still like wrapping my heads around and understanding how this still works. So I'll just keep posted on that. And if needed, I'll reach out to you.
Okay. I mean, well, the most immediate impactful need that we have right now is probably blogging, because it's the clearest that we have. I mean, as far as, excuse me, guidelines and scope and things like that. So if you wanted to just do something to hit the ground running, that would probably be your best bet. But then if you want, we can either talk offline or later on about some of the other things that need to be scoped because they're so ambiguous. So right now we're working with like 4 very high level ambiguous concepts that we're trying to kind of mold out into functions and things like that. So if you want and are interested in some of those things, like especially G Suite automation, like we have a G Suite account, and there's like so many really cool things that you can do with it, with like recipes and stuff like that, and like GitOps. So if that stuff interests you, like we can talk offline about that. And so.
Sure, yeah.
Cool. All right. And then I think I got everyone. I don't think I missed anyone. All right. So that's good. It sounds like everybody at least has or knows of something that they're going to hit the ground running with in the next couple of weeks, which is awesome. Again, we are working with these ambiguous topics to bootstrap. So thanks everybody for that. All right, the next item, which Chris and some folks already hit on, which is sort of goalie and where do we want to be, milestones, roadmap-ish stuff. So it sounds like we already have some things in the works, right? So let's say we've got more social guidelines coming down the pipe. We've got events calendars and processes for how to get news and announcements that Jonas and team are going to work on. Would it be fair to say like we'd have like monthly milestones and have these things kind of work out, like have like functions get molded every milestone? How do you all want to shape this? So like this is your call as far as how we want to track and keep ourselves accountable, essentially. Thoughts?
I don't want people to feel pressured into doing things, right? So if we overdo this and overcommit, like I want no one to overcommit basically, or feel like they have to overcommit to do anything with this group. I mean, monthly milestones I think right now are fine, right? Like we need, certain docs fleshed out. We need proposals, calendars built, right? Like having, a guidelines around like 25, 50, 100% done on things. I think that's fine. Checkpoints every month too is fine.
Or we could do KubeCon milestones. Like that's because if we wanted, like, for instance, like I know nobody likes conference driven development, but like as a marketing team, it might be worth it, because if we want to push out, like, for instance, like anytime a KubeCon hits, if we want to push out major communications around that time period and like kind of like updates and what we've done and like even reporting at KubeCon on things like that, I'm wondering if that might be a good milestone for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need like a 30, 60, 90 like day plan pre-KubeCon, like what we should be doing, right? Like, and I guess they are close enough between the 3 of them, although I don't know if China is going to happen this year, that like that would fill a calendar basically. But With that being said, I have worked on event-driven marketing teams, and it's not very fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I agree. No, I also agree. So if you want, we can table this thought. Jonas, what are your thoughts here on milestoning and what we should be covering with roadmap?
I need to collect my thoughts a bit, but yeah, the discussion is good.
I mean, I think, the milestone thing, just like Chris said, nothing like too much pressure, right now, but something light, like a light milestone, like, it really helps to keep things, more grounded in terms of it doesn't have to be something heavy, like okay, by the end of the month, we should have gotten this done, but nothing too heavy at this point, so that people feel more comfortable. Once I ease in and I get into the action of the team, I can take on more tasks. But something light at this point is going to, can help the team. More structure.
What about, so I keep saying, I'm here for 3 months. That's not true. I'll obviously like do something and take a role eventually or whatever. But from a bootstrap perspective, I envisioned, okay, it's going to take us 3 months to bootstrap, right? So what does bootstrap mean, and how do we, like, what's that goal? And maybe that could be technically our first milestone, right? So what does unbootstrap look like? What does launch look like for this?
Having all the guidelines in place, having the communication channels in place, having the right type of people and the right roles.
Yeah, building out the structure makes a lot of sense as a launch point, and then determining milestones maybe after that. Like once that's done, I feel like monthly milestones are like achievable, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so what our bootstrap goals right now are all comms in place that we've identified, all guidelines in place that will come about over the next couple of weeks, and all roles identified, which will also come about within the next couple of weeks. If not, some have already been identified, but not everybody and not all. And then also, we should probably add in either shadows ID'd, or we have a recruitment strategy. Shadows. Is that fair? I mean, because technically,
yeah, like we should not be operating without shadows. That's basically what the charter says right now.
Okay, yeah. So we need to either have shadows in place or have already started some kind of recruitment campaign for shadows if folks don't have shadows. All right. Cool. Any other comments, questions, concerns about project managing things? I have a question in there that said, should we set up a project board? Guess what? I already did it.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should.
I need issues for all this stuff because like I completely dropped the ball on finding that proposal
Such
for
a
everything.
dictator here, Paris. Just doing things that will help us immediately. What is this?
I wrote the question down and then I just went and did it. I was like, I don't know why I even put the question down.
This is how Paris makes to-do lists.
Yeah. Yeah, on the agenda, exactly. Hold on. Here it is, marketing. And then I did set the automation so that anytime you put the PR or the issue against the board, it will automatically fly around. And then, hold on, let me, where's the meeting notes? Here it is. All right, project board right there. And then, and of course, if you want, we can change the headings, if whatever makes sense for marketing teams. If any of you use project boards for marketing teams and think like there's like some amazing way to do this, please like same with any of the project management stuff that we're doing. If you see your marketing teams do some like really wild, cool stuff, like tell us, show and tell us kind of thing. And then that was pretty much it for what we had to cover in the meeting today. So I know we have some things that we put on the parking lot. But does anybody else have any other questions, concerns, comments that they want to bring up before we hit the parking lot items?
I desperately need a shadow. Like I hit George up today. He hasn't responded yet, but I know he's not going to be the shadow, but he probably knows somebody.
Okay. I mean, I'll be on your team. I won't be like a shadow. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, I just need to start.
Yeah.
Teach me how to recruit shadow spares.
Yeah. Well,
that's all I'm asking for.
Well, I did. Okay. Well, I did put a note out to the mailing list, but I don't think I include social specifically. So I'll just respond to that and say, oh, P.S. social too. But yeah, no, you have me on your team for a while. Like I'm on most people's teams here, y'all, for a while. So don't think like you don't have an extra resource, because I'm happy to be here for you. And then, yes, we will get you a shadow. Anyone else, questions, concerns, comments, or other discussion topics that they wanted to bring up?
Nope, nothing crazy. When you're talking about the G Suite stuff, I just sent you a DM about, and we can talk offline about that. But I think that'll help, not immediate term, but maybe medium from now term, in terms of kind of getting some of those things together.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's go back to the parking lot and get some PRs in. How about that? Yes. All right. So let's do the charter.
Okay.
So with the charter, we did have a lot of to-dos in the governance. So as a crew, we should make a decision on the following. One, should we check this in with the to-dos as is and iterate and go forward? Or should we leave it open for another meeting and see if we flush out more of the to-dos and then check it in at that point?
I have a +1 for iterate and get it in, and then we can, just fix it as we go.
Any zeros or negative ones? 0 meaning don't care.
Yeah, don't at me. Come on.
Yeah, don't at me. All right, cool. All right, so it sounds like we're going to merge and iterate, okay? So I'll feel free to, if anybody would like to leave LGTM or approve approvals, I will as well. So we're going to get that in today. So 1 check off the box. All right, and then let's go down to the blog guidelines. And then Tunde, I'm going to go ahead and put this, what I put in the agenda, in as a comment. And then I think that Jonas may have had some open comments as well. Did anybody else have any comments that we think we should add, delete, modify in regards to blog guidelines? Here, let me share my screen. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I meant to mute.
Yeah, I think your comment there, Paris, makes sense. If we're mentioning someone, they should be able to review the piece as well.
I'm good with approving this as is once Tunde, you address the comments that Jonas and I left. Anybody else have other comments or think that we should not move on approving right now? All right. Awesome. Second thing we are landing. That's awesome. I'm super stoked. All right. And then let's see what else. Oh, let's go back to the marketing page. Let me share my screen. All right. Cool. All right. So here's our marketing page. Again, this is inside of Kubernetes community, inside of the communication folder, because we are a sub-project of community management. Here we added the charter where we'll put the charter link. The charter will go in this document or in this folder as a separate thing. So up here where it says marketing team, it'll say charter.md. But we'll link to the charter. I went ahead and took off the top to do, added a very broad purpose, and then took out Alex Bongard just because we haven't heard from him in a while. Of course, Alex can come back in, but we also, this is also a note to all the bloggers on the line. Please PR yourselves in if you already know you want to be an active blogger. Again, I think those roles right now seem to be pretty clear cut. So feel free to add your name in as a PR and we can approve that. And then I also added the focus areas, which clearly I need to re-edit that because the formatting looks like it's terrible. So I'll re-edit that, or I'll edit that, not re-edit. I'll edit that and then get approvals from everyone. But anything else that people think should be on this page that we either know of right now or will know of in the future? All right. And then once I get that formatted, does anyone not approve of getting that merged in? If not, I'll ask one of you for your LGTM and approve when I'm ready. All right. Oh my gosh, y'all, we're going to have like three things pushed up today. That's freaking awesome. All right. And then there is one more thing that I did not put on the agenda that I'm so lucky I looked in Slack for. This is a blog post actually that needs to be reviewed. Let me share my screen. So Alex, who was once upon a time helping us out with blog stuff, did take a crack at the first SIG, which was scalability. So we do have his blog, but the thing is, it's not in the correct markdown format. And I think that's what Bob and folks and Taylor, I think you reviewed this one as well. So the question is, A, does this meet our standards, right? Because this is, again, before we had standards, right? B, what do we do in the case when someone may not be around anymore? Again, and we could lean on Taylor from the SIG Blogs team because I'm sure this happens a lot to them when, hey, someone's not around. What do we do with this blog post? How do we make edits to it? Should we list them as a co-author and then list us as the other co-authors that edit it? So open discussion, y'all. What do you think?
I feel like every blog person that touches it should get credit, if that makes sense, even if it is like an edit or just a review. But I know that's not like normal for journalistic like standards or whatever.
I think that'd be fine, and then I do like that as well. I like having that attribution, and you know, if we put something at the bottom like edited by or improvements offered by, you know, because we could have a main author or set of authors, and then at the end, you know, just put the also helps by, you know, photo credit goes to that type of attribution might be somewhat helpful.
Tunde, you might want to add something around this in the blog guidelines as well. Does the SIG Docs blog team have any guidelines about that? I don't remember reading anything. Is there any guidance?
I don't think there's anything there in terms of specifically to that attribution context, but we will have people leave and then, you know, kind of ping them like someone will get a blog post halfway through and then just, you know, never show up again. And then we'll close the PRs out at that point in time. So I don't think there's a set timeline on that. It's usually just like as we meet and as it, gut feels versus reels. But it would be good. it would be great to have kind of like a life cycle set up, and we could do that. If it's like, if you haven't touched us for 90 days, let's close this out. But I don't believe that automation exists on the website repository as it stands today.
So does the group think that this should be just one of those unwritten rules that we know better with, or should we have something written down in the guidelines about this? Meaning, how do we collaborate with people, or
how, like, what would that language look like is my concern.
That's why I'm wondering if it's more around, it's not necessarily around if someone abandons it or can't get a hold of them. I guess the language would probably be around like just collaboration in general. So like, for instance, like, if, we'll always try to attribute everyone that works on the piece to I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
Equal attribution for all involved.
Yeah, something. I don't know, something, but not. I don't know. I'm tempted to say no. Go ahead, Taylor. Sorry.
No. I was interrupting. The SIG Docs blog, they do call out, like, we will try our best to get this reviewed in 2 weeks. I think that's the only attribution to time that exists today, is like, just like you said, we'll try our best. Here's around where we think that's going to be.
Okay. All right, Tunde, take what you wish from that for the blog guidelines. If you don't want to put anything in there, we'll just figure that out as we go and put it in. So
yeah. I feel like this is one of those things that we could just iterate over as time goes on, like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. PR as well.
So who on the blogging team wants to take the action to figure out what to do with this SIG scalability blog?
I'm happy to jump on that if nobody's feeling, if nobody's got any pep in their step about it. I'm all about it.
So Taylor, your goal is the following: A, they need to have a blog. So that's your goal to post something. But on the other end of that stick is, does it meet our guidelines? Does it tell a story? Can you add any value to it? And then at the end of the day, the personal goal for the SIG is to get people to understand what it is they do and how, like, only a few people honestly are in that SIG and they run humongous performance tests. Like, so it's kind of like a recruitment story too.
Cool.
So think about that. All right.
Great. Oh, sorry about that.
No, Tunde, what's up?
No, can I work with him on that also? Because yeah. Taylor? Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, sure.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
All right, and then our very last parking lot item to wrap this show up was Twitter. So, all right, so I'm going to take notes this time. All right, so we've got Kubernetes dev, Kate's contributors.
Jonas had one called Cube Crowd.
Yep,
I really like that one.
Cube Crowd. Hold on. Cube Crowd. And then I saw some other ones in chat. Hold on, I'm looking in chat right now. Cube Ship. What else? Case contributor. Oh yeah, I know. Karthik. Yes, that was actually one of mine to Bob too. The C12s. Yes, that was.
Because it was too long for me to even type it.
Yeah. Just our handle is just C12S. Like, that is like some elite shit, y'all. Excuse my French, but like that's like the hacker elite. Like,
oh God.
So that account is actually not taken. So if you want to grab it, you can grab it.
We should get it.
Really?
Yeah, we should do it. Just cause. Like, we should just grab it just cause.
Okay.
Oh, of course. I agree.
Like it might not actually be the thing we do, but
Yeah. I agree. All right. Okay. And then, all right. I think I got everyone. It's Cube Crowd. All right. Cube Ship. No, I didn't write that one down. Cube Ship.
And Contribex is actually not taken either. So
Okay.
probably grab that just in case.
Yeah.
Tyler said.
Any other idea? Sorry, Taylor. Go ahead. Or no, Karthik. I apologize.
So Tyler said like Cube Crowd or like crowd with K, KROWD.
I'm okay with that.
Any other whimsical ideas that folks have had?
No, as in like cube dash CROWD or KROW, just KROWD.
Or
Like-
just crowd?
Oh,
Okay.
just crowd. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if that's available because that'd be fun.
If you add a Y, we could be K Rowdy.
I like this.
Rowdy as hell. See, this is the creative team, y'all. By the way, this is what I'm talking. I need these like creative, like just folks in my life, and y'all are it. All right, and then anything else? Come on, let's just keep going. I like things that are just, you just know it, you know? That's the hard part about Twitter now, is that most of that stuff is taken. It's like, you just know it. I like full-blown Kubernetes contributors, but it's just so long. Like, but you know right there. It's like, you know. All right, well, let's continue to think. And then I think what we should do next Friday is definitely have a short list and then prepare a community vote. Because I think it would be cool if we engaged Kubernetes dev and like had a top 3. So like, you know, here's the marketing team's 3 that we've parked. You tell us which one you want. And like, you know, maybe we can engage the community that way. Is that a good timeline for that? Yes.
How long were we going to wait for the vote? A week?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a process changing thing or anything like that. All right.
As long as no one hijacks the vote and makes it QB McCuberface, I'm so happy.
Well, no, I'm saying we'll give them the 3 options. Like it's like the list that we've done. Cuberface. Honestly, I think McCuberface would be hilarious.
It's just a new mascot we don't know about. Yeah, we don't know what they look like, but.
All right, so we're gonna.
Sky's the limit now. Crowd is taken. Sorry.
All right.
Crowd. Yeah.
Happy Friday, everyone. That's it for the show.
See y'all.
Happy Friday.
Y'all.
See y'all later.
Appreciate that. Wait, Rin said something. Hold on, Rin. Can we use a Google form link to a spreadsheet for people to fill out some info we designate for them to tell us about what's going on in their SIG? That way we'd have a stockpile.
Hey, Paris, did you want to add me as like a interim G Suite admin person for stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So also, I had something for Taylor and Tunde. Taylor.
Now that the meeting's over.
Yeah, sorry for that.
I'm serious. I don't have anything right now, so go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say during the SIG scalability, like when writing the blog, if you can share in a doc some of the questions you asked while talking to the SIG scalability team, or the things you pretty much focused on, that could be useful to
all the database to questions.
Yeah, so blog, that
Absolutely.
would actually be good, and that actually goes to Rin's point as well. So, like, this is 2 birds with 1 stone right now, which is why doesn't the blogging team get together and like come up with questions that you ask all the SIG, like, you know, some consistent kind of like reporting questions that you feel like might, you know, get good information out of SIGs while you're asking them, right? And while you're interviewing them. Because like the whole goal here is to just like interview people from SIGs and then tell a story about it, right? So it's like you're a journalist with the Washington Post. Tell a story about this SIG, the scalability, like why would we care? Like why does Kubernetes care about this SIG? Like why is it so important? Like you should make like everyone sound so important, right?
Super important.
Super important. So yeah, the blog team, think about that. Think about some of those questions. And then maybe next Friday, we'll have like sort of a question script / like question bank that you can build off of. Is that cool?
That'd be dope. Absolutely.
Yeah. Dope. All right. Break for real. Go team. See y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.